So I'm announcing this again for the people who are joining just now. I sent a lead code problem link called as reverse only vowels or reverse vowels in the word in the chat box. So give a try to that problem.
ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ చాలా బాగా పెట్టాడు. ఇప్పుడు దాకా కొళ్ళు షార్ప్గా ఉన్నాయి. అడి గుడియుడు యాక్సెప్ట్ చేస్తుంది అంతే. ఇప్పుడు దాకా ఇంకోళ్ళు ఉండవు కదా, నీకు మెచ్యూర్ వచ్చింది అంటది. లేకపోతే ఇప్పుడు దాకా పెప్పం గాడిలో ఫస్ట్ టైం నువ్వు చూడలేదు. ఓ అమ్మాయి కూడా
Okay guys, so let us recollect how we did 2 pointers yesterday. the classic two-pointer technique to solve this problem. So first, let us understand the problem. The problem states that we will be given a string and we need to reverse only the vowels of the string, which means you can leave the consonants normally, right? So the consonants present in the string can be left out in the same place where they are, but the vowels must be reversed. And from the last few classes, we are learning that the best way to reverse something is trying to swap first and last, second and second last, third and third last, right? So just interchange the extreme ends and just keep on doing this by coming from forwards and backwards, right? That is going to reverse the string. But now we will try to do the same thing, but we will try to do this a little bit cautious. So let us take the string given. Let's say it is ice cream. So in the string ice cream, what we need to do is we need to try to reverse only the vowels. So first, on strings in some programming languages, you cannot directly perform the swapping because of their immutability nature, right? So if you take Python or Java, in Python or Java, strings are immutable. Immutable means you cannot simply interchange the values present in the strings at different indexes. That is not allowed. So what we will do is we will try to convert the string into an array of characters if it is Java, or we will try to convert it into a list of characters if it is Python. However, in C++, you don't need to worry about this. In C++, strings are mutable, right? So let's write this. I, C, E, C, R, E, A, M. So this is the given string, right? Now first, let us see what will be the output for this string. Okay. So to do that, we need to identify what are the vowels. I, E, E, A. Only these are the vowels, right? So the rest of them are consonants. So C is consonant, R and M are consonant. So if you try to only reverse the vowels, but if you try to keep the consonants in the same place, this C, this R and M doesn't change their positions. Only vowels are what? I, E, A, right? So if you just try to bring them out, it's I, E, A. Now if you reverse this, what will happen? A goes to the place of I comes to the place of A. And both E's gets interchanged, but there will be no difference because both of them are E's. But still, we will interchange them. So which means the string becomes A, E, I. So what happened here? Ice cream becomes A's CREIM. So that is the output, right? A's CREIM. So how do we use two pointers here? Well, classically, we will try to start two pointers. One is at 0th index and the other is at last index, right? So I starts here and J starts here. Now we will try to move I and J accordingly. So first, we will try to, there are four cases again here. What is the first case? The first case is at array of I or at string of I, at index I in the string, you may have an vowel, but at string of J, you may have a consonant. So what is the case one? Case one is S of J is vowel. So let's write vowel and consonant. S of I is vowel, but S of J is consonant. So that's exactly the first case. Look at the first case. S of I is vowel, that's I itself, but S of J, M is consonant, right? Then what will you try to do? You will try to move J backwards. Why? Because we don't want to swap an vowel and a consonant, right? We only want to swap both vowels. So we will identify whichever the one is consonant and we will hope that we will find vowels down the lane towards left, right? So in this case, what is the solution? The solution is only move J. Now, what is the second case? The second case is S of J is vowel, but S of I is consonant. So which means once you reach I and J, now this is the third case, right? What is the third case? S of I here is vowel, S of J is vowel. If both are vowels, then what we will try to do? If both are vowels, we try to swap and then move both I and J. So how do we swap? We swap I to the place of J and J to the place of I like this. And after swapping, we don't really need to stay in these positions, right? So that is the reason we are moving J as well as we are moving I. Now we can see you fell into the second case. See, S of J is oval, that's cool, but S of I is constant. So in this case, what is the solution? Only move, because we are already at an oval when it with respect to J, right? So you just need to find out one more oval on the I side also. If you find one more oval on the I side, we can simply swap them, right? So I'm moving I. Now I found both ovals. Here I'm going to swap this E and this E. If both are same, even if you don't swap, it's okay. Right? But after swapping, we should not forget to move here and here. Now we encountered the last case that we didn't discuss. The last case is, what if S of I is constant as well as S of J? In this case, we can't do anything, right? We don't need to swap any of these things. So we will simply move I and J. Without swapping, we do this. What is the fourth case? Both are constants. If both are consonants, we are going to move I as well as J. But what is the difference between this step and this step? In the previous step, we are swapping and then moving. But in this step, we are simply moving. We are not swapping. Oh, that's my bad. Oh, sorry guys. I didn't share the screen. But I hope in the end you understood the logic, right? The logic is the same thing that we did with the characters or alphabets yesterday. But this time we just don't need to check if it is alphabet. Rather, we need to check if it is oval or consonant, right? So it is equivalent of the problem we solved yesterday. Yesterday we solved a problem called reverse only letters, right? And there also, there are only 4 cases. The 4 cases are, what if S of I is a letter but not S of J? What if S of J is a letter but not S of I? What if both are letters? What if both are not letters? Here also, we just apply the logic on oval consonant level. What if S of I is oval but S of J is consonant? That means in order to swap, if you move J towards left, there is a chance that you will find an oval down the lane, right? And you can reverse this. What if S of J is oval but S of I is not? In that case, if you move I towards right, there is a chance that you will find an oval towards right. But when you find both ovals, we swap and move I. When you find both consonants, we just move I, because consonants doesn't need to be interchanged. They have to stay in the place where they are, like this. And we do this as well as I less than J. Okay, so in this program, the extra thing we need to do is, we just need to identify whether the character is oval or consonant, right? So how do we solve this? So let me write the code. The first thing we have to do in Java is, in Java, there is no way you can directly swap the characters in the string. So what you need to do, you need to interchange or you need to convert this string first into character array. So that's what I'm doing. Char arr equals s dot to char array. Now this particular method helps you to convert a string into char array. Inside a character array, it's mutable. You can interchange the index values, right? Now let's try to apply the logic. Int I equals 0, int j equals array dot length minus 1. That is the last index, right? Last index. Now what we will try to do? We will try to run the loop as long as I less than j. But here, let's write the 4 cases. The first case is, what if both are ovals? So how do you find both are ovals or not? So to write this, let's write a function. Public static boolean. Let's write the function as is oval. And if the function takes a character, and this character will be checked whether it is present in the list of ovals. So let's take a string of ovals. String ovals equals, we know that A-I-O-U are ovals, capital A-I-O-U are ovals. So instead of writing the condition for each particular character using logical R's, there is a shortcut in Java. You can take the ovals as a string, and on a string you can apply a method called contains. Ovals dot contains. And this contains method, what it will do in Java is, it's going to check whether the given substring is a part of the actual string. For instance, if you write something like this, ovals is our string, and I'm checking if this oval string is containing a sequence of AEI. A sequence of AEI means a sequence of the characters A, E, I right next to each other. Now this kind of function call or method call is going to give you true. Why? The reason is you can see AEI is a part of this oval string AEIOU. Here you can find it. AEI is matched here and here, right? So that's how this function is going to work. But for this function, you are supposed to send a string, not a character. So in this way, if you try to send something like capital A, also it will tell you true, right? Because capital A is present here, see? And if you send something like capital U, it tells true because capital U is present here. But the only problem is you need to send the string, not the character. So in Java, you have a quick fix for this. You can try to add this character to an empty string like this. Then momentarily, this character will be converted into a string. And now that contains method accepts strings, this works. So basically these two lines are going to identify whether this character is oval or consonant. Okay, it's going to return true if it's oval, otherwise it's going to return false. So what we will try to do? First we will try to check if is oval of s dot, array of I. So if that is oval, as well as is oval of array of j. So if both are ovals, this is our first case. If both are ovals, we need to swap, interchange the characters, which means you take a temporary character and you set array of I there. And array of I will be converted to array of j, and array of j will be holding temp. After swapping, we try to move I, j backwards. Done. So this is first case. But what if one of them is not oval? So then we will try to check this case. If array of I is not oval, so which means if is oval of array of j. So that means if array of j is oval but not I, because if both are ovals, we don't even get into this else if, right? See, only this else if will be visited if one of these are not ovals. That is when this will fail, right? If both are ovals, we will do this work. So if you are coming to this else if, that basically means this condition is false. If this condition is false, that indicates one of them are not oval. How do you find that out? So first I am checking if is oval of array of j. That means j is oval but I is not. So what do we do? Move on. Else if we are checking is oval of array of I. So if I is oval, then move j. In other case, if both are not ovals, then move I as well as j. That's it. So now our character array, in the character array, ovals will be reversed and we can simply return not a character array. This program expects you to return a string. So you're going to convert the character array back into string like this. New string of character array name is ARR. So that's going to solve this problem. So if I missed semicolons anywhere, it's going to tell me error, of course. So this is exactly the same program, guys. Exactly the same program like reverse only letters. Yesterday we have solved this, right? It will be in the chat. You can see it. If you just scroll up, you will find the program. But the only difference is there we checked if array of I and array of j both are alphabets or not. But here we checked they are ovals or consonants. I hope you understood this. I hope this is clear, guys. Yes or no? So put it in the chat box. And without wasting any time, I am taking you to one more problem that you can solve using 2 pointers. So first read out this problem and tell me what you understood from this problem. So again, this is the example for such kind of problems that tells you 2 pointers doesn't mean they always go in opposite directions. And they will always try to get close to each other, right? So you can imagine this, placing one in the leftmost end, placing one in the rightmost end, and bringing them closer accordingly. That's not the 2 pointers, right? So 2 pointers can come in different variations. And the problem I'm about to send, this one, that is merge strings accordingly. It is an example for one such case. Okay, so read that problem, take your time, 5 to 10 minutes, and tell me what you understood from that problem, what they're asking in that problem. The problem is sent in the chat box, and its name is merge strings alternately. So I hope you opened and reading out the question. So once you understood the problem, just tell me what they're asking in the problem. And if possible, give yourself an example. You give an example of your own according to your understanding.
సరిగ్గా తెలియదు
కూర లేకుండా తింటాను
మామూలుగా తిన్నా
ఏడు బాబు మీకంటే ఎక్కువ మామిడికాయలు తిన్నాను దాని ముందు ఇదిగో 2 కుర్కురు ప్యాకెట్లు చింపోయింది ఒకటే మధ్యలో అది చెరగలేదు సరే ఇటే పక్క చింపితే ఇటే పక్క కూడా చిరిగిపోయింది సో 2 తినేసాను కుర్కురు ప్యాకెట్లు దానికి ఎట్లా
ఏ కుక్కర్ ప్యాకెట్ తిన్నా
అయ్యే
అయ్యి
బిర్యానీ
బాగున్నాయా
ఇప్పుడు కాదు 4 గంటలు కాదు ఇంకే
So I hope you have been through this problem. So this is purely implementational problem on strings, but still this is categorized into 2 pointers because they are asking you to merge the strings alternate. So this is not a difficult problem. So basically you will be given 2 words, A and B, and you have to combine those 2 words. But when I say combine, you should not actually put one word to the end of the other. For example, you should not combine ABC by adding PQR to it in the very end. So that will give you ABC PQR, right? But you need to rather kind of merge this string, one character from one word and the other character from another. So like this, you have to keep on bringing each character from both words at once and you have to merge them together, right? So first let's say one input for this. So here you will be having something like ABC. This is word 1, right? So it contains indexes 0, 1, 2 of course. And then there is word 2 and this contains PQR. So when it contains ABC and PQR, you need to do something like this. First you need to pick up one character from word 1 and next character from word 2. And one character from word 1, another from word 2. One character from word 1 again, another from word 2. So like this you have to merge and the final answer is the merging of 2 APB QC. That's it. So this is very easy and it becomes a 2-pointer problem because you are bringing each character from each word, right? That means you don't run the loop on word 1 completely and then run the loop on word 2. No, you will try to run the loop on word 1 and word 2 simultaneously. That means you take a value like I. So you make this run the loop on word 1. And you take another variable like j and you try to use this j to run the loop on word 2. So every time what you will try to bring? You will try to bring word 1 of I and word 2 of I also. And you will try to put right next to each other in another string called reverse. So we are going to take a new string. However, if you try to merge in the process, that will form a new string, right? So we'll try to take a new string. And in this new string, we will try to add one character from word 1, one character from word 2. I hope you guys are listening to this. But there could be some practical challenges when you are trying to solve this problem. So first, let us point out what are those practical challenges. First one is, how can you determine how many characters will be there in the output string? For example, word 1 contains 3 characters, word 2 contains 3 characters. Now if you merge them, none of these characters will go away, right? We are not deleting any characters. So can you tell me what should be the size of a result string in this question? So answer this in the chat box. So you have word 1 and word 2. So what should be the size of the result string? Okay, 6. But talk in terms of word 1 and word 2. Not every time word 1 can contain 3 letters and word 2 can contain 2 letters or 3 letters, right? According to the problem, word 1 can contain any number of letters, so can word 2 be. So tell me, how do you fix the size of the resultant string? Well, of course, in programming languages like Java and Python, you don't need to fix the size of the resultant string right away. So what is the result? The result will be nothing but what is the length of this word 1 and length of this word 2, right? So length of the word 1, it could be 7 or 8. Length of the word 2, it could be 10. So what is the result? Well, the result is nothing but the length of these two strings combined. So a better approach would be, instead of taking a string and trying to add every single character to the string, because whenever you try to do that in Java, it's going to create a new string object. The reason is strings are immutable, as we talked about. So strings are immutable. Every time if you are trying to change the string, basically you are creating a new string, right? So a better approach in the way of 2 pointers, it will help you to solve the next problem I'm giving. It is better to take a resultant character array. But what will be the size of the resultant character array? Well, the resultant character array like this char ARR will be having the size new int of or new char of size word1's length, word1's dot length plus words2 dot length. That will be the size of the resultant character array. Now in this case, that is the size 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So total 6, right? Now the point here is we will try to pick one character from word 1 and we will try to pick one more character from word 2. That is sure. But what happens if the word 1 exhausts before word 2? For instance, what happens if the word 2 contains two more characters like this? So that is, it contains something like S and T also. So that is 3 and 4. Now definitely before word 1, word 2 wears out, word 1 wears out, right? Because it contains only 3 letters, but word 2 contains more than 3 letters. In this case, I hope some of you have learned merge-sort, right? You learned merge-sort as a process in your DS second semester. So we will try to do the same thing. We will try to run a loop based on I being not exceeding the word's length, J not exceeding the word 2 length. But in that case, what we will try to, I is less than word 1's length, right? That is 3. So we will try to pick one character from here and we will try to place it in the result string. But here is the catch. The catch is on the result string also, you have to move one pointer, right? So that means you can take one more pointer like k, which is helpful to run the loop on result string. So we are going to bring one character from word 1 into result string at kth index, and in order to bring one more character from word 2 like this, we need to make sure the k moves, right? So every time we move k also, and then we will try to bring character from done. So after bringing one character from word 1, you move I because you processed this character, and bringing one from word 2, you move j. Now you try to do the same. K is moved and then B is brought into the result string. But since your intention is to bring one more character from word 2, you need to move k to the next index. So with every bringing of the character from any word, k definitely moves. And then you bring this q here. And after bringing this q, you move j also. So now you can see still I value is less than words 1 length and j is still less than words 2 length. So here we did not reach complete yet, but now we reach, right? So we will bring c into the 4th index like this. And then we will try to bring the next letter, that is r, into the 5th index by moving k of course. But now you can see the word 1 is over. So when word 1 is over, your loop gets terminated, right? Because we processed all the characters from word 1. But still there are more characters in word 2. Then what we will try to do? We will try to run a loop on whichever the string that is left over, and we try to bring the characters directly. First we will try to bring this character here and move k here. And then we will try to bring the character here and we will move k. So now you can see you processed all the characters from word 2 also. But we will not know whether word 2 is shorter or word 1 is shorter, right? That is why safe side we will try to do an exhausting operation on word 1. If there are any more characters left out, we will try to bring them into result directly, and we try to do this on word 2 also. So even if you try to do this on word 1, word 1 would have already reached the end, right? From here, the loop will not even run. But if you try it in word 2, since j is still at this 3rd index, we will bring this s here, and then we will bring this t, and then we will complete the loop. So 2 extra loops will be written for processing the leftover characters. But we are very sure that from only one word there will be leftovers in the worst case, not from both strings. But the point here is, if you write it for safe side, you don't need to explicitly check which word is exhausted first. I hope you understood the logic. So let me convert this logic into code. So first things first, what we are going to require? We are going to require an output, right? So the output string or the result string. As I talked about, I'm not going to store it in the string because every time adding to the string could be costly. So I'm going to store it in the character array. Char output, or you can call it as result, it's up to you, equals new char. Here we need to mention what will be the size of the new character array, right? The new character array size, as we talked about, would be equal to word 1's length plus word 2's length. Done. Now I'm going to need 3 pointers. One pointer is helpful to run the loop on word 1. Another pointer is helpful to run the loop on word 2. But the third pointer is required to run the loop on results. So I'm going to call them as int I, j and k. I will be setting I, j, k both to 0. Why all these three things to 0? See, initially you started I at 0th index in word 1, right? And you started j at 0th index in word 2. And k also should start at 0th index. The reason is we try to bring each character at once, right? So once you brought this a, then you move k as well as I. And once you brought this p, you're going to move k to make some space to the next character and move j. So with every movement, we are going to move the character from the corresponding string or the index in the corresponding string and the index in the result string. Alright, so that's why I set all of them to zeros. Now let's write our logic. Since we don't know which string is larger, which string is smaller, we will try to run the loop based on something like this. I less than words 1 length and j less than words 2 length. What does this mean? This means as long as word 1 length is not exhausted, at the same time word 2 length is also not exhausted, we will try to run this. We are very sure that if word 1 is shorter, this condition becomes false first. Then we will come out of the loop. Or if word 2 is shorter, then we will come out of the loop because of the fail of this condition. So what we will try to do inside? Inside, first we need to bring one character from word 1, right? And we need to place it into the result. So we will try to write something like this. Result of A equals word 1 dot caret of I. So please note that it's a string, and on string, if you want to access, you need to use the caret method. So what did we just do? We brought out one character from word 1 at ith index like this. You can imagine like this. We are bringing one character from word 1, but into which index we should bring? That is also an important question, right? We should bring it into the kth index from the result string. So that means I'm bringing this A here. But after doing this, there is one crucial step. What is that crucial step? You should move I and also you should move K. That means in the next step, we are going to do something like this. I plus plus, K plus plus. Now, we need to merge the strings alternatively, right? We brought one character from word 1. Now we need to bring one more character from word 2, right? So we will do the same. Result of A now is equal to word 2 dot caret of j. So we are bringing the character that is present at jth index from word 2 to the kth index in the result array. What does that mean? That means we are going to bring this character into the result array's kth index. But which crucial step we should not forget? We already processed one character at 0th index, right? So we move it to the next index and k also moves. So what do we do here? We try to write j plus plus, k plus plus. That's it. But this is going to work for whichever the string is having minimum length. Because if the first string is exhausted first, then there will be still characters left in the second string, right? If the second string gets exhausted, first string will have extra characters. So in order to tackle these two situations, we can try to write two individual while loops. So we are trying to write bringing leftover chars from word 1. So in order to bring leftover characters from word 1, you independently run the loop on word 1. I less than word 1's length. You don't need to check anything. You can simply write result of A equals to word 1 dot caret of. And after bringing this, I plus plus will be done, A plus plus. Now this is going to help you to bring out if there are any leftover characters from word 1. But we are not sure, right? Not every time word 1 will have extra characters. Sometimes word 2 can also have extra characters, right? For that case also, we are going to bring in one more while loop. This time it runs on word 2. So let's write j less than word 2's length. We are going to bring result of k equals word 2 dot caret of j, and we will increment j and k. So please note that in entire process, k always moves. Whether I moves or j moves depends on whether are you accessing the character from word 1 or word 2. Now once this is done, you can simply return not the character array but string. So let's write string of result. So let's run this and see. All the test cases passed, right? So I told you the solution in Java. You can try it in your own language, and you can try to send the screenshot. How many of you understood this, guys? So did you understand what I have written here? So how we are merging alternatively, but it is perfectly fine if you use a language like Python and Java. If you try to use a output string instead of a character array, you can simply try to attach every character to that output string, right? For instance, I'm going to show you one more way to solve this. Instead of taking this, since strings are dynamic in Java, you can take a string like result and you can put it as empty string. In that case, you will not have any struggle to move k. So there is no necessity of k here, and here also there is no necessity of k. So what you will try to do is, instead of going with the indexes, you will try to directly add it to the string, like result plus equals to this character, and then you only need to move I. And again, you try to write result plus equals to words2 dot caret of I. And here you don't need to move k, right? Because you are dynamically adding each and every character to the string. Every time you are changing the string into a new version. Okay, here also you can simply try to write result of is not required, result plus equals to word1 dot caret of I, and moving only I is enough here. There is no such concept like k. Here also the same story, result plus equal to word2 dot caret of j and moves it. And finally, this conversion is not required because you already took a string, not a character array. So simply you are going to return result. That will also work. Right?
Yes,
Not new result. You just have to return result. So it's word2 caret of j, not I. That's why it's giving me error. Right? So all the test cases passed. So let's submit. So it's passed all the test cases, and right, maybe sometimes, as I mentioned, it may not beat 100% runtime because you are trying to attach to the string every time, right? As I mentioned, this operation is costly. It's going to create a new string in the heap, and every time you are changing that. That's why the previous solution, it passed or it beats 100% in terms of running time, but this one is not, right? So it's actually negligible, right? So you don't need to pay attention to this. Only the logic should be coming into the mind. Is it clear? How many of you remember the merge sort? Guys, do you remember the merge sort, how merge sort will work? So in MedSort, we will have a process called merging, right? Okay. So however, as a process of discussing about data structures, you already know these classes will continue as long as this semester goes. So at some point, we will jump into DS. Once we are done with some algorithms, basic ones, we will discuss data structures also, like we discuss linked list, stacks, queues. As a process, we will discuss sorting also. But the same concept, you can feel like we do it in merge sort, right? When we try to write the merge operation, which basically merges two sorted arrays, we try to do something like this. So just to recall that and also give yourself good knowledge on 2 pointers, try to solve this problem also. So this is the same problem, merge sorted array. So this is exactly the merge operation that is present in the merge sort. So try this problem before coming to the next week's class. So I will try. Last week I told you I will send some string problems because of some busy schedule. I was not able to. So this week I will send some array and string problems that can revolve around these 2 pointers concept or normal implementation level problems. And next week we will see sorting problems and also we will see frequency array related problems and hash maps. How you can use maps, hash maps or dictionaries to approach the problem that revolves around finding frequencies, right? So thank you guys. The coach of contest is going on, I guess, since this is Wednesday. You can leave this session and join in the next week. I will send some problems. I'll try to send some problems. So keep in touch with solving them. Thank you.
పడుకోమ్మా.
ఇదేనా నైట్ వచ్చావు కరెక్ట్
పడుకో.
కోల్బా అన్నీ ఎవడో కానీ ఇన్స్టాగ్రామ్ రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ అన్నారా మొన్న
వెళ్ళు. పడుకో తమ్ముడు. వెళ్ళు.
పడుకోండి
పడుకో.
వచ్చేది వెళ్తాం హిరియ ప్రాణంలో అరయ ఇంకో
ఏం చేస్తాం వెళ్ళే ముందు
ఏం చేయను
ఏం చేయవా